I stumbled down dark stairwells for what seemed like forever, until, suddenly, I found myself, wow! In an abandoned London Underground station. This place must have been closed down decades ago. LBS Lubes? What are lubes? The machine wasn't about to weigh me for nothing. The cup was empty. The machine needed to be fed a coin before it would operate. It was an old chocolate vending machine. 1D only was embossed below the coin slot. Something protruded slightly from the slot. The slot was much too thin for my fingers. A flap covered the tray into which the machine dispensed chocolate bars. The tray was empty. The cup was empty. It was a cup which caught rejected coins. It was a poster advertising holidays in Scotland. It might have been a nice souvenir if it hadn't been torn and dirty. It was an old ticket machine. A sign read, "Tickets 3D." The machine looked like it had sold its last ticket a long time ago. A pile of old railway sleepers was blocking the platform. It was a maintenance cupboard. A latch lock stopped me getting into the cupboard. The blade of the dagger just fitted between the door and the soft wood frame. The door gave slightly and then held firm. A latch lock stopped me. My fingers were too big to reach into the tiny crack. The hair grip was too thick to fit into the crack. The blade of the dagger was too thick to get into the narrow crack. There was nothing useful in the bag. I pushed the hair clip into the slot and whatever was stuck there disappeared into the machine. I pulled out an old English penny. An ancient bar of chocolate dropped into the tray at the bottom of the machine. And as a special bonus, the penny dropped through to the reject bucket. I took the ancient bar of chocolate. I pulled out an old English penny. The penny was too large to fit into the slot. The ghost obviously didn't want to talk. Perhaps it was shy. put the old penny into the slot, the needle twitched rustily and the machine spat out a card. I remembered my student days when I regularly forgot my house keys. A wiggle with the thick card between the frame and the lock, and the latch lifted. The weight was in imperial units. It meant nothing to me. The card also had my fortune on it. A family quarrel will turn out to your advantage. The train was my ride out of there. I could worry about not having a ticket when I got to the docks.
It was a stagnant swamp. Nothing, I mean nothing, would possess me to step into that swamp. There was something in that hole beneath the rock. As soon as I stooped to investigate the hole, its inhabitant disappeared into the darkness. A clump of reeds grew out of the stinking swamp. The path was blocked by an ugly and extremely dangerous-looking boar. The boar's expression said, "Forget it, Stobbart." end of the reed had been neatly bitten off. Now I knew what was living in there. A long-toothed, snarling, furry wild thing. If I jumped, I could just about reach the branch. The dart fitted snugly into the reed. Great. I was tooled up and dangerous. The boar looked determined to stop me from getting past. That branch had helped me all it was going to. Initials had been carved into the rock. Initials carved into the stone read F.K. Frederick Ketch had been here. Joining the dots would make an equilateral triangle. Joining the dots would make... The hill I was on had reminded me of a camel's hump as I'd climbed up it. Now I had to see what I could see. was a good cave for hiding treasure in. Shame about the flooding problem. Heck, Ketch could have hidden his treasure anywhere. This island's full of hiding places. There was an enormous cave. Every tourist for the last 3 centuries must have been in that one. An ugly little cave. Didn't look like the sort of place you'd want to leave treasure. It was a needle of rock in the middle of the clearing. It didn't look like a natural formation. I remembered Ketch's log. For is it not writ that 'tis easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle? It seemed pretty relevant now. No good. I'd have to be bitten by a radioactive spider before I stood any chance of getting up there. The rock was partially overgrown by creepers. The creeper just came away from the rock as I pulled it. The creeper didn't look like it would hold my weight. The net attached easily enough to the creeper and seemed secure. Great. I'd created some sort of creeper marker fishing net assembly. Sometimes I terrify myself with my creative genius. I'd successfully got the marker into a position near the top of the needle simply by using the kind of lateral thinking that can get you institutionalized. It was the marker which I had raised up the needle of rock. It was the marker which I had raised up the needle of rock. I could see the marker I had fastened on the rock down in the forest, and right in line with it, that had to be where Ketch had hidden his treasure.
The Xibalba princess lay at anchor just below Tower Bridge. I knew I'd found the right ship as soon as I saw Pablo at the rail. A guard patrolled the deck. He was sure to be armed. I couldn't open the crate, and I couldn't move it. It was risky, but I thought I could get to the next crate unseen. The gangplank crossed a collection of heaving litter. I suppose the Thames was under it somewhere. A mop for swabbing the deck stood against the wall. Got you! It was a porthole to the main cabin.
But the Collard woman was there. They'll know it was me.
But you have the stone. The right stone, you're sure?
Yes, of course, it's the Jaguar stone. No possible mistake. Here it is. Karzak, please. The police will be looking for me soon. You're going to get me out of the country, aren't you?
Stop your whining, Ubier. Do you have any idea what this stone symbolizes?
I thought you just wanted it to frighten the natives.
Fool. I intend to cast this stone into the sea.
But why? It's unique.
Exactly. With it gone, the Mayan priest's plan to destroy Tezcatlipoca cannot succeed.
I can assure you that Tezcatlipoca is a mythical figure.
Such a small mind you live in. Tezcatlipoca is real. I have seen him in my dreams. We have spoken of his plans for this world. We have spoken of your part in these plans.
My part?
He told me you would be useful. He told me how to crush your spirit by turning you to drugs.
My wife died. You know that full well. She was my world, my everything.
And now, you are no longer useful. She called out your name as she died, you know.
What? What are you saying?
And then they thought you'd done it. It all worked perfectly.
You? It was you? You bastard! You monster! For the love of God, Karzak!
Which one?
I couldn't just rifle his body without making sure he was really dead. There were no signs of life, but I checked that Ubier really was beyond help. We were going to need the stone to thwart Karzak. I knew Ubier would have approved. It was the Jaguar stone, all right. I was seconds from death. I had to stop him somehow.
Pirates? I was about to make good my escape when...
Cut! Who the hell are you?
I can explain everything.
Don't bother.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were making a movie.
So who are you?
Stobbart, George Stobbart. 2 B's and 2 T's.
It's okay, Mr. Hawks. He wasn't in the shot.
Hawks? This had to be Carlton Hawks, the newest enfant terrible of Tinseltown. I'd read about him. Mailroom boy makes good. Nice to know it was still possible to get to be a director armed with only an encyclopedic knowledge of postal charges.
Stay out of the way, surfer boy. I'll deal with you later.
Surfer boy? It was a woman with huge boots and an impressive cleavage. Hey there, I'm George Stobbart.
Well, hi, handsome. You're cute. I wish it was you playing the lead male instead of that kid.
I can't act, ma'am.
So what? I bet you can kiss.
I couldn't believe I was having this conversation with a real movie star. What part are you playing?
Pirate Babs, the ruthless and passionate lady buccaneer. It's a great part. I get to kiss a lot, and I kick ass. Like the boots?
What do you think of these?
Ew, they're awful.
You have no idea how much you've just gone up in my estimation. What's it like sharing the spotlight with an actor who's young enough to be your son?
What do you mean?
I found this reed in the swamp on the other side of the island.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I used it to shoot a poisoned dart at a wild boar. It was a real-life drama, not just a scene from a movie.
Right.
She was having trouble with the whole real life is not a movie concept. Take a look at this ancient Mayan artifact.
That's just a hunk of stone with a picture scratched on it.
In a way, I guess. You don't happen to have seen anything similar, have you?
No.
Hi there, George Stobbart.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Haiku McEwen.
Is your name really Haiku?
Yeah. It was my mom's idea, okay? When I was born, I was so small and perfectly formed I reminded her of a Japanese poem.
Well, I guess it could have been worse. She could have called you Limerick.
That's my middle name.
Did you always want to be an actor?
I don't think of what I do as acting, man.
You're not alone.
It's more like I'm the voice of my generation. What I'm saying for the kids on the street.
Which is what? I'm crap, I'm going nowhere?
Huh? What are you saying, man?
Stobbart, get out of shot. Positions, everybody.
I'll get a flip chart and explain it to you later, Haiku.
Haiku, baby, are you ready?
Okay, man. Which scene is this?
You've been captured by Silver's accomplice, Pirate Babs, who's fallen in love with you. Okay, people, top of page 76, Sharon.
What about my big speech?
It's been cut. Everybody ready?
Up to speed.
Quiet on the set. Okay, let's make magic.
Oh, please.
And action!
Why don't you forget that dumb old squire and his bunch of merry men? Can't you see we were made for each other?
I know, but Squire Trelawney saved my life, Captain Babs. Why, if it hadn't have been for him, that giant octopus would have made mincemeat out of me.
But right now he thinks you're a traitor. He's locked you out of the stockade, Jimbo.
That 20-foot high wall with spikes might have kept out Silver's men, but it ain't gonna stop me.
Oh, Jimbo.
And cut! Good heavy breathing, Sharon.
Natch, I'm a pro.
Did you get the heavy breathing, Flash?
Did I ever, boss? We should have made this movie in 3D.
Haiku, you were great. We're setting up for the stunt now, so get a bite to eat. Savage, on set, damn it!